Hello, my name is Scrivo, and this is going to be a tutorial on The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, any percent NoEG, or NoEG, DG, WW, no exploration glitch, no door glitch, no wrong warp. The way that this tutorial is going to work is I'm going to play back the recent theory tasks that I completed, explaining the rooms as we go through. And for anything that requires more in-depth explanation, I will stop and switch over to a live game feed, and then we'll go back to the video. A note, NoEG is not a beginner category traditionally. You've probably already had experience with another category, most likely NMG. So Escape and Eastern, two segments are going to be pretty much the same, except Eastern has a different overworld. So I won't cover those as in-depth, but I will explain things as we go through. So with that, we will begin. Bring up the video. So out of the file select, you'll want to make sure that you select your file with A and continue to hold A, and it will actually automatically advance that first line of text. As soon as the first line of text advances, you will want to make sure that you start mashing with A, B, X, and Y to get through the text as quickly as possible. And then A, B, X, Y, L, R, you can mash those to get Link out of bed. So of course, any of this overworld movement when you don't have the boots, it's important that you pump if you can. If pumping makes you move poorly, then don't. It's really not that worth it until you're going for better times. Even at a level of like a 29 or a 28, pumping probably isn't going to help you. But double pump when you can, like between those the two rows of bushes going towards the hole, double pumping there at the very least is worth it. Just proceed through the rooms. Now, in this courtyard here, one thing to note, so in this particular case I had a clean path, but sometimes that green guard will be up in front of the bush. In that case, when you slash the last bush, hold your sword through the slash, and you will just poke the green guard out of the way and advance. And then when you go up the stairs to the door, ignore how I'm going up the center. You want to go up the right side and kind of pump left over to the door. It's a little bit faster. Move through the lobby and the side hallways. In this next hallway, you want to do your best to avoid the three green guards. Sometimes they will go three wide and block the whole hallway. Use your sword if you have to, but as a last resort. Now this room, I'll show the left slash here. The left slash is the fastest way to go through this room, but there is one other way that you can do it. So the left slash is faster, it is more difficult, and it's pretty easy to lose time on it, because if you don't do it right, you'll poke, you'll drop the sword, and you won't be able to spin. Another way that you can do that is with an up slash. And you just always want to make sure that you push them towards the door. If something goes wrong and you do that, just 3 slash them down. It's better than resetting, but again, you can left slash them to the door. Don't do that. You can up slash them to the door. And if everything goes wrong, then you can 3 slash. So, back to the video. Just hold down to jump here, and then try to cut the diagonal as close as you can, so that you don't nudge the ledge. Of course, nudging that ledge is better than getting hit by the blue guard. Proceed through the dark pit here. Now the key here is to go high enough that you don't aggro that green guard, and then you want to make sure that you slash in this doorway so you can charge the spin and be ready to track down this green guard and release it. Now, when you enter this room, you slash move diagonal, poke and spin, and then up left out of the spin to get the key. We'll bring that one up too. So as you come in, you want to slash, poke, spin, and hold up left, and then try to boomerang right out of that to get the key. Just make sure that you slash early enough that, because if you slash too late, you'll poke and that will happen. Bad things happen. If you slash too early, he's going to come all the way over. You're going to lose a bit of time. So you just kind of want to slash before you get too much lower than this, and try not to nudge the statue. And try not to sword fight him. And then ideally you get a first frame boom out of the text box, but big deal is that you get the key. And as long as the key is in the door frame when you transition, you'll still get it. It is possible to go too fast and to leave the key behind, but if you're going that fast, you're probably not watching a tutorial by me. So, moving on. Alright, so we're coming up next on the ball and chain guard. So the big thing about the ball and chain guard, this room has a few things. First, read this green guard. Get him out of the way if you have to. But the big thing is to start... You want to start moving down right about when you see the ball and chain guard come on screen. Don't go too low because that'll give him time to hit you. You want to cut right below him and 8 slash him up. And then a diagonal boom will pick up the key. Try to open the chest before you talk to Zelda, and you can use an upright while opening the chest to kind of chest slide into the cutscene to get a first frame cutscene. Those are the big things to remember about that room. With the ball and chain guard real quick, I do want to mention this before we get too much farther. If you're, for whatever reason, not comfortable with the ball and chain guard, it is always a perfectly viable strat to come over here, get a pot, and do that. Of course, mind the green guard. If you're really not comfortable and you're just learning, well, you can use 2 pots. And if this green guy looks like he's going to get in your way, or you know that you're going to use a pot, you want to boom him. So just get him in the corner and slash him. So you can do the 8 slash, obviously that's fastest. The big key thing here is when you're up here waiting for the key, a diagonal boom like that will pick up the key fastest. And we'll go back to the video. I don't pump, here, let's cut it back a little bit. So, coming out of this room, just cancel left, use left to cancel stair lag out of the door and cut the diagonal as close as you can, and then just hold down. Now, out of this, I don't pump in this room. You can do some air pumps to the stairs. I haven't found it terribly beneficial. You're going to save maybe a frame at most. Same thing here. You can pump if you want. Jump high off that ledge, diagonal straight to the stairs, and get through this room without taking a hit from the blue guard. Pump down to the door, and get back through this hallway. Use your boomerang, not your sword if you have to. Diagonal straight to the wall and snap into the doorway as best as you can. And then L, R, and A to cancel that text. Since you don't have the boots and you're not near enough to grab anything, A won't do anything if you overmash, and of course L and R can cancel the last text box of any conversation. So this room has a lot going on. So the throne room, let's see if I can, let's get back to the throne room. I thought we had a preset for it, but when you're going through the throne room, the big things to remember are A, you want to pump left on the stairs, and B, you want to make sure that you mash A, B, X, Y through the first text box in the conversation, and then L and R through the second one, so that you don't accidentally grab or slash out of it. But this doorway here, so pump left here, so as I said, A, B, X, and Y there, and L and R out of this one. You want to get up, over, and up with as little extra movement as possible. And you want to try to push the bookcase as low as possible. And then your key for when you're done pushing is this. So if you look at the top right corner, or the top left corner of the bookcase and the top of the door frame, and you kind of get a visual idea for how many, pixels there are between the black of the bookcase or mantle or whatever and the black of the middle line of the door frame. You should see about 2 pixels of color in there. Once you see that, you can go up and cut on through. Over pushing the mantle is a good way to lose a lot of time. Diagonal straight to this wall and pump. Just look out for the rat that can get you right at the top of that wall. And get through the snakes. Get that snake out of your way, dodge that bat, and get the chest, and get on out. Now, coming through this door, you actually want to double pump through this transition. You can get some pumps in before the text box, cancel the text box with L and R, and then you always want to pump in these water rooms. So just mash up, pump, up while holding left to get up to the door, and the same thing in the next room. Watch out for the key rat. I'm not going to go over all the key rat positions. Just kill the rat and get the key. You want to dodge the snakes and rats here. And then one thing I'll show as I get through this room. You hold A as you enter the door. And holding A when you approach the switch. Here, we'll clear these guys out and I'll show. All right, so there's going to be there's a text box here. But if you're holding A, you can cancel this text box with, as you're holding A here, you can cancel this text box with L and R. And then you can approach the switch. And once you get into position, you'll auto grab it. As soon as you let go of the D-pad, then you can press down and it will slide you over. That saves you from having to press A, release the D-pad, and hold down. You can just hold A out of that text box. You can either cancel the text box with A or B. I hold A as I enter the room and just keep holding A. But you will auto grab the switch. I'll do the same thing over here. So if you are walking up to the switch, as soon as you're in position and you let go of the D-pad, you'll auto grab it. And now there's snakes. So we'll go back to the video. Of course, when you get through here, mash out of the text. The big thing to remember here, you're going to be saving and quitting to Link's house. And you want to get a first frame save and quit. So you can either hold select the whole time here, or you can either hold select the whole time or just realize that once the yes/no question here is asked, start holding select, and as soon as you say yes, it will automatically bring up the save and quit menu, and you can quit and then start mashing to get back to Link's house. So as you jump off this ledge here, when you get to this screen, if you diagonal straight up there, it makes it harder to recognize the sword guard, but you'll occasionally despawn the bow guard in the middle of the bridge. So you can opt to diagonal up, save a few frames. Get through the Eastern Overworld like you would in any other category. Approach this Armos low to activate him earlier, and then get behind him and either boom or slash him. You want to diagonal past this Armos as tightly as you can. Always double pump on these staircases. Alright, now this 3 Popos room. I do this thing where I pump over and I boomerang. Of course, you don't have to do that. The normal way is to just up left, hit the switch, and go around these guys. And it's usually, as long as you don't go way left, it's usually just as fast. Boomeranging is the fastest way to do it, but it's very easy to run straight into the Popo and get knocked back into the switch, and then you're going to have a bad time. Dodge the cannonballs. And Eastern is pretty much as normal. Now, the one thing to know is you definitely want to have at least 5 rupees before you exit Eastern. So, there's a few places where boomeranging an enemy might be faster, but you gotta think, how many rupees do I have? Do I have 5? Where am I in the drop table? Stelphos room as normal. Where am I in the drop table? You know, if you don't have 5, you're gonna lose some time later. So, for example, coming up, real quick, make sure that you go down and grab these arrows. You don't want to gamble on a drop, and you'll need them. You'll need at least 3 leaving Eastern. So like in this room coming up, you could very easily boomerang this Popo on the right side, but very often you're at the blue in the prize pack. Slashing him sets up that blue. So in this room, you can walk in and diagonal boom that key. There's a few different ways that you can do that room. So the first one is what I showed, is you kind of get up to this line here, and then you can approach the pot, read the Stelphos, and throw the boomerang. Here, let's clear these guys out to show that. So you can approach it here, throw the boomerang, pick up the pot, the boomerang will grab the key, and you can move out. If the Stelphos appear to be in the way, you can just grab the pot, throw it at a Stelphos if he's in your way, and get it. There's another strat where you throw the boomerang down. I've not yet picked that up, but the big thing is to make sure you read these Stelphos correct, because if they're in your way, you're going to have a bad time. You only have 3 hearts. You don't want to take a ton of damage because you're going to be doing the big key skip coming up. But walk in, read them, get the key without doing that. That's the easy way. Pick up the pot and throw the boom. So, back to the video. So again, we got our 5 rupee drop. If you didn't get a 5 drop there, you might want to opt to kill that bottom Popo there and try to advance the prize pack. But you want 5 rupees before you leave. So the big key skip, there's a lot to cover here. I'd advise watching a more in-depth tutorial. But I'll go over the 2 ways that you can do that room real quick. So the first way that you can do it is what was shown. Is come in here, diagonal into the Popo, and use your iframes. So there's a lot going in there. You're diagonaling off the Popo and hopefully getting boosted straight left. While you still have iframes, you want to pick up the pot and step on the switch so that your iframes expire while you're on the switch, triggering the chest, and then it will boost you out. And you can get the big key. And if you do that, you're going to lose a heart and a half. Oh. So that's the goal there. If you can't do that, Or if you miss the Popo, what you can do, we'll clear these guys out, is you can just line up with the stairs and use the stairs kind of as a backstop for the deboost. So, if you miss, do that. And just mash A to make sure that you pick up the pot. Alright, so back to the video. So when you come back to the big chest room, try to cut down, to, if you can, cut down, and you want to kind of pot slide off those pots to pick up the arrows and still be moving to the right. It's a frame saver. If you can't do it, don't worry about it. You'll pick it up. You want to avoid these guys. Now, this next room, there are 3 ways that you can do this room. The way I just showed is the no slash. So if you're coming in here, you can diagonal, get up here, get high on the Igor, fire an arrow, and get the key. If you're low on hearts, come over here, slash this guy, and then fire the arrow. The third method is something called Gifted with Greenies. It's a pretty high-level strat. It saves an arrow. If you want to learn it, more power to you. I have no idea how to do it. But the big 2 that you want to know are no slash is obviously fastest. 1 slash is slower than that, but still pretty good. Gifted with Greenies if you are an RNG aficionado. So back to the footage. Pick up these pots as quickly as you can. If you go too fast, you can get hit by those anti-fairies, but if you're going that fast, you're probably not watching this tutorial. Hold up right out of the door and then pump up to this switch, and then we get to Zelda Gamer Room. So, the key to this is to kill the Stelphos and wake the red Igor up as quickly as possible. Now, these 2 Stelphos, let's bring this up. These 2 Stelphos can do a few things, and I'm going to see if I can get my... okay, so I cannot capture my cursor, I guess. No. Okay. So these these Stelphos can do one of 3 things. Each one can do one of 3. So they can either walk short, which is going to be... So if you look at the 2 pots in the center, and then there's 4 tiles to the right of the pot, they can either walk short, which is going to be to stop on the first tile immediately to the right of the pots, and then they can choose to walk up and down. They can walk middle, which is in between the second and third tile, and then choose to walk up and down, or they can walk long, which is to go all the way to the wall and then walk up and down. Either of the 2 can do either of the 3, leading to 9 combinations. So the way that I approach this room is I always try to deal with the bottom Stelphos first, and then use the right pot, which has the arrows that I need anyway, to kill the top Stelphos. And in the video, what you saw was that I killed the bottom one, picked up the pot, went up enough to wake up the red Igor, and then threw the pot. So the red Igor was already waking up, and I could kill him with the arrows as quickly as possible. So I'll show just a few different RNGs here. So with 2 mid, you can just do the 2 arrows like that. 2 short like that is pretty difficult to handle. You gotta react to that one quick. That's pretty much the worst one, is when they both go long, because you have to react to it quickly. But the big thing is to get in here, kill the bottom one, take out the top one, and then kill the ready. One thing is, I'm going to clear out the Stelphos to show this real quick. When you kill this red guy, this is actually a mistake I made in the theory task. You want to charge your sword when you're heading into the next room, but make sure you're not holding up with your sword pointing up against the door. So I'll show what happens. So if you did that, you notice that the sword was clanking, right? And then when I would go into the next room, it would clank, and I wouldn't be able to release my spin. So if you're going to slash after killing the ready, you want to slash left or right. If you're going to slash up, don't be pressing against the door. Bad things will happen. Anyway, back to the video. So spin to clear out these guys. Hopefully you'll get a rupee drop to bring you up to 10 and take out the 2 red Igors. Now, the Armos. I do a silly fight here. Don't do this. I mean, if you want to do it, do it. Do what makes you happy. But that's obviously not the fastest way. The right way to do the Armos quick kill is to get up here to the top right. 5 arrows to the right. Get over here and start firing down. Make sure you have far enough left. And try to only fire try to only fire 18, because like I said, you need 3 arrows leaving this dungeon or you're gonna have a bad time. We'll go over the arrow routing when we get to Ganon's Tower. You're not going to use any more arrows between now and Ganon's Tower, but you get the route calls for picking up 15, and you need 18 for Ice Armos. So if you have less than 3 leaving Eastern, you need to go out of your way to get more arrows, and that's going to be slower. Hopefully you have more than 3, but you want to have at least 3. So, and make sure you pick up, you stand as low as possible to catch the pendant. If you watch the video, you'll see where I am when I pick it up. So coming out of here, walk on over to Sahasrara. Now, there's a choice to be made here. I am going to show picking up bombs to do the bomb clip. If you want to do a manual clip for Kiki Skip, I'll show that. It's hard. I'm not good at it, but I'll show it. But you don't need these bombs. Also, if you have less than 5 arrows, if you have less than 5 rupees, and you're going to get the bombs, get one of the rupee chests too, because it's the fastest way to get up to 10 rupees. But go back there and grab the bombs if you're going to do the bomb clip, and then save and quit the sanctuary. And then now, get the sank heart if you want it. Get it now. Don't get it after escape. So this is DMA. So let's get to a state where I can show that. Let's see. We'll do Hera fake flippers and save and quit. So DMA, it's a boots clip to get up to Death Mountain. We'll grab it just so that we have it. Now, entering the screen, you have a few choices, right? If you want to do it the fastest way, then immediately dash left right below the courtyard of the sanctuary. If you want to be a little bit safer, you can go all the way down to about here and start your dash left. And you should be able to avoid the first green guard a little bit easier. But obviously fastest is to go here. Now when you get to this screen, as you come out of the screen transition, you want to hold down left and try to dash on the first frame. And then you want to dash up along over the far right row of far right column of flowers. And ideally, you started your dash early enough that you're going to be able to start your next dash before that green guard gets you. So it should look like this. No, in that case, he just didn't aggro at all. Now, in this case, there's a few things that you can do. The fastest way is to cut your dash right here, go right, and dash up. Now, one thing that I do to make the DMA a little bit, if you cancel the first dash with down, you can always beat the guard. Ah, okay. There you go. See? That's why it's good to have people in the chat for this. So I'm gonna kill these guys. One thing I do when I do this dash up is I like to actually dash up enough that I take out that bottom left bush, but not so much that I go into it. And what that does is it creates a little man trap there. And that green guard's going to get stuck there. And he's not going to come up here and screw with your DMA. And it's not that much slower. You're only dashing like 1 extra frame. And then you can cut your dash right. Or you can cut off your dash with a right and dash up through the bushes. And then you can get up here to do the DMA. Now, DMA is a much longer thing to go over. But I'm going to go over and explain the basics. Basically, this is the low... you're doing what's called a boots clip, where you're holding out the sword, and then you are tapping right and A on the same frame a few times to move into the ledge 1 pixel at a time. And when you get to the right spot, for this vertical pixel, this is the right spot. What you want to do is release your spin, and during releasing the spin, you hold down right, and you see Link teleports. He's actually going up a lot. See, I'm not actually here. This green, you're actually teleporting up, but you're getting wrapped around to the bottom of the screen. And if you do that, and then you just hold up right, you end up here on Death Mountain. Now, you're still not exactly where the game thinks you are. You're actually much lower on the screen, but the camera's all messed up. So we're going to do something called a camera correction to get the screen back to where it needs to be. To do the camera correction, you want to dash up and then cancel that dash before you bonk. If you bonk, it's not the end of the world, but slower. Dash up, cancel that dash, dash down. On the dash down, you do want to bonk because that will help move the camera along quicker, and then you want to get to where the door should be. So I'll show that. So I'll take a save state. Now, obviously you see there, these, after the DMA, you were right by the green guard, but he can't hurt you. These squirrels and these cabbages, they can hurt you. So keep an eye out on them. They probably will get you. But you're going to end up here. What you want to do is kind of wiggle down and up a little bit to bring the screen down. And you need to get where the door is, which won't be, it won't visually look right, but you want to get where the door is onto the screen. If you enter the door while it's still off screen, you'll get this really glitched camera transition. If you do it bad enough, it can actually pretty much take 10 minutes to transition to camera. If you're just off a little bit, it might take an extra 5 or 8 seconds. But you want to get this right where Link's head is, that brown row. As long as that is on screen, you're fine. And then you just want to kind of find the door, which is right there. So we'll do that again. I'm going to try to do it without camera. I'm going to try to show the bad one. Actually, I can't because of how I wrap the screen. So, okay, so this is the bad one. So that top row of brown wasn't quite on the screen yet. And that's what's going to happen. So as long as you can see, if you see at the very top of the screen, there's like 2 little brown rocks above and between the bomb and the arrow icon. That's about your cue for where the door is, and as long as that's on the screen, you're good. So that is DMA. I mean, it is a well-programmed game. This fits on a floppy disk, and it was done 25 some odd years ago, and it took a long time for anybody to find any of this. And the fact that the game doesn't crash is a pretty good testament to how well-programmed it is. So anyway, here's DMA. Camera correct, walk up to the door. You want to do these dashes as close as you can. Make sure you don't dash into this pit. Cancel your dash with a down right before you get to the pit and walk around the edge. Proceed through, talk to the old man. Cancel your text with L and R and X. When you're in this cave, so 4 text boxes on the first conversation. 4 text boxes on the first conversation, 3 on the last. For the last text box in caves, make sure you're canceling with L, R, and X. X doesn't do anything. You're not going to map, but it will cancel text. So get the old man, proceed out, and get the mirror. Now, next is something called DMD. So it's going to show a few things here, and then I'll go over them. So this is a spin speed into a clip up to Hera. It's a screen wrap, and then we're entering a portal that's actually screen wrapped, and then we're going to use a trick called a mirror wrap to get off of Death Mountain. So that was a lot of things happening in quick succession, so I will show those all really quick. Alright, so the first thing that you saw was the spin speed clip. So spin speed is a Japanese exclusive 1.0 glitch where you charge up your spin, and on the frame after you release it, you tap A to do a dash. It puts you in this weird glitch state. A lot of applications in different categories, but the big thing that's important here is it messes up your collision in corners because how it tracks collision and how it thinks link speed is and what link speed really is. The math doesn't quite add up. And it lets you get into the corner into a state where you can clip. And when you do this clip, you jump down, but it actually wraps you to the top of this big screen that you're on. All of this west side of Death Mountain is one big screen top to bottom with no screen transitions in it. So it's going to bring you all the way back to the top. You're actually going to land inside the structure of Tower of Hera. So we'll do the spin speed. Now, what you want to do is make sure you're facing down and hold down right to get into the corner, and then just keep holding down right. And you're going to jump. Now, when you land, your first input needs to be up. If your first input is not up, you'll see that you'll get kind of pushed up here. And then you will get kind of stuck in the wall. But if you do get stuck, just keep holding, just tap up, and if you don't get moved, then hold down and you'll jump off. But while you're in the air, you should switch to holding up. So, get this. And if you hold up while you're in the air, you'll see Link will face up and get kicked back down. Now, you're up at the top of Death Mountain. To give you an idea of where you are, let's see if I can find it. This is actually the entrance to Tower of Hera. So what it's done is it's wrapped you up, and you actually land right over here. So I'm going to show you what you're going to do on the real map, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So you normally will land right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold down right, and you're going to tap A to quick hop off the ledge. And then you're going to go around this boulder. It's there. You won't be able to see it. And you want to make sure that when you come around this boulder that you stay lined up with the side of it. And I'll explain why in a bit. But you're going to be coming around this boulder, stay lined up with the side of it, and then you're going to kind of go straight down and straight left into the portal. Now, again, this is what it would look like if the camera were corrected. After you go through the portal, you're going to walk straight left into this bush, straight down into this bush, and then you're going to walk left, and somewhere around here you're going to switch to mirror, and then you're going to do the mirror wrap. So that's what it would look like if the camera were corrected. Well, what if the camera's not corrected? So you jump off here. Now, here's that boulder that we were talking about, and again, none of these enemies can hurt you. They're way down at the bottom of the mountain. You're up at the top. So here's this boulder. You want to come around the side of it, stay lined up with it, come straight down, and enter the portal. So now we're going to do that mirror wrap. So for DMD, there's two ways that you can do it, and I'm going to show you this safe way that if you fail the fast way, it will fall back to the slow way. The fast way is what I showed in the Taz, which is a mirror wrap. You mirror on a specific pixel while walking, and it warps you to another screen. Why? I don't know. It just does. The slow way is going to be something called a screen scroll, which is about 11 seconds slower, but still faster than doing the clip manually. So coming out of the portal, like I said, you want to hold straight left, and you're running into that bush that we saw. You want to hold from there. You want to go to straight down. Don't press diagonals here. Diagonals are bad. Now, this is the slow way. If you get to here, just walk straight left. I did it wrong, because I did not line up with this boulder. So make sure you stay with this boulder, straight down, straight left. Keep holding left out of the transition, down. Okay, so this is the safe way. If you do it the safe way, you're going to end up on this screen. And what you do when you get to this screen is just mirror. Now, you are in front of the sanctuary, but kind of a little off. So what you want to do is dash over, get to here, and dash up, and you'll enter the sanctuary. And you will be able to exit it with a corrected camera. Dash over. And through the magic of video games, your mirror portal is right there. And now you have descended Death Mountain as a bunny. So that is the slow way to do it, but safe. As long as you hug this boulder, do down, hold left all the way through the mirror transition until you hit the bush, then tap straight down, and if you just walk left into the transition, you'll end up there. So what's the fastest way? Well, the fastest way is pretty much the same, except A, you don't have to hug the boulder. You can use more diagonals to make quicker movements. And what you're going to do with the faster way, I'll get my mirror and take a save state, is you're going to hold left. And when you get to a certain position, which is... I'm doing select buffers here real quick, because you'll need select buffers in a bit. What I'm doing is I'm using select to stop the game. I'm hitting Y to cancel the select menu. Any button will do. But then I'm immediately hitting select again and trying to advance the game just a little bit. So that's a save state that I'm taking here. So, and you're trying to move into this position right here. So you've got, you can see the whole game feed here. Obviously on your TV it's probably going to look a little bit different, but the big thing that I look for is there's a bush on the bottom right side of the screen, and I see 1 pixel of brown between the black of the bush and the edge of the screen, and you should see the same thing on the feed for the game right now. I'm going to make sure that that's true. Yeah, so you should see 1 pixel of brown between the bush and that. What that means is that now, instead of canceling and going back to select, this time I'm going to cancel with A, and I'm going to go A to Y, and I'm going to mirror on the first frame. And what that's going to do is it's going to put me in that weird mirror wrap, and I'm back in front of Dark World Sanctuary. The camera's a little bit messed up here, but we're now down off Death Mountain, and we are a bunny. So those are the two ways you can do it. You can use the safer method, where you do the cardinal movements through the warp into the bushes and just walk into the screen transition, fix the camera by entering the sanctuary, and then get back into your displaced mirror portal. Or you can do the mirror wrap that I just showed, which I'll show again. So again, out of this, you just, if you do it wrong, by the way, you're going to get this screen scroll and you have to reset. You want to AY into that. So if you do it this way, you want to, as you proceed right, you want to walk up here, and then you're going to have to fix the camera. By the way, if you do it the other way, you just walk straight left to Kakariko and walk down, and I'll meet up with you in a bit. But if you do it this way, you're going to come up here, and then you want to fix the camera. So you're going to do some big swooping diagonals down and up, until you get about over to here. When you get here, just do big down up wiggles. The big key is to make sure that the bunny reappears at the bottom of the screen. So we're going to do these big swooping diagonals to move the screen. Make sure you start moving down. But as soon as I see the bunny's head at the bottom of the screen, I'm good. Or the bunny's full body at the bottom of the screen. Then I'm just going to come in here. And now I'm in Kakariko. If you did the walking one where you end up in front of Sanctuary and you have to mirror, you just walk left, walk down, and you'll get to the same point. So let's go back to the video and get caught up. And there is a longer video on Death Mountain Descent by poor little Pinkus, who, by the way, made this practice hack and is awesome. He's the best. And he goes through how to do this as well. So there's the camera correction. Now, once you're here, you want to just proceed through Kakariko, and you want to avoid that moblin. Sometimes he'll throw a spear straight down at you when you're walking down. Just be prepared to dodge it. Alright, and now we're going to talk about mirror jump. So I'll show it here on the video, and then I'll go through all the steps. So basically, you're using a series of mirror transitions to get behind those rocks so you can get the frog. So once it's done, I'll walk through all of the various steps. And then here is the actual mirror jump. And we wait for the portal to take us back. And then, ta-da, we can get the frog. Okay, so that was, again, a lot of things that I'll go over. So, when you are here, for the mirror jump, the first thing you want to do is you come through the screen, get to these rocks so you're lined up with them, and then walk straight down until just before you're about to jump off, and mirror. So, from this position, what you want to do is go left all the way out of the warp, and then just back into the edge of the warp. And I hold my sword out, I slash left, move out, and then kind of just edge back in. And when you get to here, just mirror back as quickly as you can. Just mash Y. And then again, you want to do the same thing here. You want to move out and you want to move back in. But you want the top of Link's hat to be pretty much centered on the right vertical portion of the ladder. So again, I'm going to slash, I'm going to move out, and I'm going to move back, and I'm going to use dash buffers to kind of adjust my position. So if you see, Link's hat is pretty much lined up with that ladder. I'm going to... And you know that you got it if it doesn't warp you back immediately. So we'll get to that position again. So this is the first mirror. I'm going to mirror back. And again, you want Link's hat lined up with that vertical portion of the ladder, and then just let the warp take you. Again, here, just mash Y to mirror back as quickly as you can. For this one, you want to hold your sword out, get up onto the ladder, and then edge down into the portal. Again, you did it right if it doesn't mirror you back. When you get to this position, just hold up and walk up to these rocks. As soon as you get to the rocks, mirror back. And then here, this one is the one that has a little bit of precision to it. The way I do this safely is I slash and I get all the way out of the warp, and then I edge back down into the warp. And as long as you kind of hit the top part of the warp, you'll be good. So I'm going to slash, I'm going to get out, and I'm going to dash buffer back into it. Now, you're going to land here. What do you do now? Well, keep an eye on that frog, all right? So the thing to know about this screen is that the frog always starts on the ground, and he jumps up and down, and his movement is consistent. What is not consistent is the bunny's walking animation. The bunny's walking animation just picks up wherever it left off the last time that you walked. And what you need to do in this particular case is you need to hold left and jump off the ledge, but you need to mirror on the exact frame that you jump off. So how do you know when you're going to jump off? How do you know? Because it takes 20 frames to jump. Well, we're going to use the frog to help us. So you know, wait until the sprite stops splashing to get stopped at the right spot. Yeah, you can wait all the way until Link is done with his mirror iframes. So what we're going to do is, out of this last warp, you're going to hold left, and then you're going to use select buffers. So I'm holding left. You see I'm holding left up in the input display of the practice hack. And you're going to use select buffers, and what you want to see is the frog is going to jump up. He's going to jump back down. And then he's going to jump up again. And when he jumps up, and he gets to this position, and what you want to look for is the frog's toes have 1 pixel of ground below them before you get to the shadow. Once you get to this position, you're either on frame 18 or 19 after the mirror transition. And like I said, you jump on frame 20. So from here, what you want to do is the same thing we did with the DMD, where you're going to cancel and mirror on the next frame. You want to do that here too. And if you do it right and you cancel and you mirror on the next frame, one of two things will happen. If you're on frame 18 and you mirror on frame 19, you'll stand still, you'll mirror, and you can mirror back and try it all over again. If you're on frame 19 and you mirror on frame 20, you will successfully complete the mirror jump. If you take too long, you jump off. And you have to go all the way back around and set it up again. And that takes about a minute. While you're learning the category, please don't reset on failed mirror jumps. Please don't. Until you have a sub 30, don't reset on failed mirror jumps. Because if you still have like a 30, you probably have like a 10-minute Ganon's Tower, or you probably have a failed mirror jump, or something's bad in your PB. But don't reset on these until you get a sub 30. So what we're going to do, we're going to wait for this frog to get into that position. I happen to get the select buffer on the exact frame. and then we are going to hit any button, A, B, or X, and then Y on the next frame, and hopefully we get this. So I was on frame 18, I mirrored on frame 19, and so I stood still. So let's try that again. Get the frog into position. Okay, so you saw I jumped forward 1 pixel and then I mirrored, and now your cue is that Link's shield is way off to the left and Link's actually standing off center in the portal. That's your cue that you got it. If you get that, just wait for it to mirror back, and once you're back in Bunny, just tap up and suddenly you have a frog friend. When you pick up the frog, 3 text boxes, mash A, B, X, Y on the first 2, L and R in the second, and then from there you can just mirror. Get spin speed here, and quickly carry your new friend over. So let's go back to the video and pick it up from there. So I now have my new frog friend. Real quick, if you, for whatever reason, did not end up with 10 rupees and you have 5, there you go, 5 rupees. Now, if you really got hosed over and you have nothing and you did not get the chest, heck. If you did not get the chest, you can actually bonk that tree twice. You can bonk it both on this screen the first time you pass it with the smith, and then you can bonk it again after you drop the sword off. So, So you want to walk up the stairs, but after you do the whole sword errand, so you walk out, walk back in, and actually drop off the sword, and this is where you're going to use those 10 rupees. Try to press A as low as possible and still talk to the smith. When you're leaving the smith's house, you want to dash down. It seems slower because of the stairs, but it still works out. But this is where you could bonk the tree for the second time. Now, the same thing when we were talking about escape and first frame save and quit. You'll notice that I'm holding select right now. Don't hold select before the sword goes up. You can actually bring up the save and quit menu before you have the sword. There's a frame that you can pause on between the last conversation and when you get the sword. And if you hold select and you actually accidentally save and quit there, you don't have a sword. And that's bad. So as soon as the sword goes into the air, you want to hold select and start mashing so you can get the first frame, save and quit. So next we're going to go get the hammer. So we save and quit to Death Mountain. Gonna get spin speed here and climb. Now this is where hopefully if you got those bombs, this is where we're going to use them. If you didn't get the bombs, then you're going to do a different clip. But we're going to do something called a bomb clip here. So you walk up, you go into that corner and bonk over, and you use the menu while moving up to get to buffer yourself into a specific position. You have 3 vertical pixels you can be in. You place the bomb, you get down around the bottom edge of the wall, and you dash into the explosion. Then you use a 1 frame buffer up, either dash or sword, and then you do a down right buffer, usually a sword buffer, and that will this is called Kiki Skip, and what it will do is it will clip you through that wall into the room below on the map, which is actually in Palace of Darkness. So bring this up. I'm going to clear out the mini mold arms to make it a little bit easier to show what's going on here. Okay. So when you enter, you're going to... This guy wants to party too. So when you enter, you're going to go up left into this corner. You want to dash and bonk. And this puts you on the correct horizontal pixel. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to tap up. I'm going to move up a little bit. And then I'm going to pause to bombs. And then immediately place the bomb. So, and the thing to look for is the position of the bomb's fuse on the rock that the fuse is going to touch. And that's kind of going to be your cue if you've placed the bomb on the right spot. So, that's good. I just dashed too late. So if you do it right, you're going to get clipped down into the wall here. So from here, what you want to do is an A and up to dash buffer up 1, and then slash and hold down right during the slash. So up 1, slash and hold down right, and it will clip you through the wall, and now you're in the shooter key room of Palace of Darkness. See, there's the key. You don't need the key. Don't get the key. Bad things happen if you get the key. If you took a lot of damage on Death Mountain and you only have 1 heart when you get here, pick up this pot and get this heart. Now, if you don't want to get the bombs, and you want to learn to do the faster clip, I will explain it in theory, and then you can watch a better tutorial to learn it in practice. So the better clip is the manual kiki skip, and what you need to do is use 1 frame movements to move 9 pixels horizontally into the wall. So from facing down, you're going to do a bunch of 1 frame upright select buffers, and then cancel with down. You're going to do that 9 times. 4. That was actually I'll try one more time to show it. Five. 6. 7. 8. 9. And then once you get to here, you go up right between 2 and 5 pixels. So that's 2. From there, you can slash and hold down right, and you'll get through. Select buffers is the slow way to do that. Sword buffers is the fast way to do it. It's difficult. I do the bomb clip. Either way, your end goal is to get here to Palace of Darkness. So back to the video. So now that you're here in Palace of Darkness, what you are here for is the hammer. So hit this switch. If you did not get bombs in Sahasrarla's hut, make sure that you pick up a few bombs here. You want 2. And then you'll get a 3rd for the hammer jump. So the hammer jump is going to be a little bit different than you're used to if you do NMG, mainly because the bridge isn't falling. So I'll show it really quick. Okay, so how in the world did I know that my dash would stop there? Well, the vertical cue for the hammer jump is actually on a, it aligns with a dash as long as you nudge that bottom pot. So what you're going to do is walk straight up, pick up this pot, and then go left a little bit and dash up. And then you are going, ideally, you will use a select buffer or a start buffer
tell that you're in the right position, and find a visual cue that works for you. So I'll dash. So I'll dash up, and I am still too low. And this is the right position for the hammer jump. If you get it in one buffer, then it's faster. Otherwise, you can just walk up and slash buffer into your position. But out of your buffer, you can just hold right, place your bomb, move up to your normal position, and do the bomb jump. But otherwise, just buffer down to your position and do the bomb jump. But yeah, this dash here, it happens to place you on the right movement pattern. And eventually you'll get the hang of, like this one, stopping your dash. On the right pixel, and then do your hammer jump as normal. So, back to the video. So again, out of the hammer animation, you're holding select, so you get a first frame, save and quit. And we're going to save and quit to Death Mountain. Now we're going to do that same Hera clip that we did earlier. And we're going to go into the portal again. But this time, instead of walking down and doing the DMD, we're going to jump down off the mountain. And now, in this particular position, you actually are where it shows. You screen wrap to the top of the mountain, and then you jumped all the way down. So you are actually down here. And you're going to walk into this corner. Now, this is the way I do it. This is 1 second or so slower than optimal if you can do it with select buffers. But you're going to walk into this corner, menu to mirror, and out of the menu, you're going to press up and Y. And you're going to mirror. Once you mirror, you're going to slash back into the wall and then dash buffer out of and back into the warp. And then you're going to walk up left to a particular spot, use your menu to hammer to buffer your position, and then you can hold down right to jump into Ganon's tower. So here we are, we're in this position. We're going to menu, I'm going to slash, let's do that right. I'm going to slash back into the wall, dash buffer right, and then come back into the mirror. Now, from here, you're going to go up left. I'm going to select buffer to show you the position. So this is the position that you want to be in. So you're going to walk up left until you're in this spot. If you stop short of it, then you select buffer up to it. But once you get to this spot, you stop and you menu. I have an extra book. You're going to stop and menu to hammer. And then out of the hammer menu, you hold down right and you'll jump. Once you land, your first input needs to be right. And you see it kicks you out to the left. From there, you can walk up into Ganon's tower. So I'll do that one more time. So that's what happens if you go short. If you go too far, you're going to just walk out. But if you do it right, you're in Ganon's tower. Alright, so now let's talk about Ganon's tower. First thing that you need to do when you get in there is you're going to be a bunny. You need to go kill yourself. Because doing that will turn you back into Link. So just walk up, go to these spikes. And now, a lot of the rooms in Ganon's tower are different. So I'm going to try to play along with the video so that I can show you these rooms. So bonk this key. Walking there is just as fast. Pick up the pot because you don't have a hook shot, so you just walk to it and pick it up. Now this room coming up, I'll show it to you and then I'll pause. Okay, so that's the spike skip method. Let me get to that room and then I will... So that's the spike skip method. So you walk in, you're gonna the easy way. I'll show you the easy way first, because I can't do the spike skip on demand. You're gonna walk in, bonk off that one, bonk off this one. Sick, glitch spike. I'll have to come back and do that again to unglitch the spike. Otherwise, you can't proceed. Hovering is slower. Don't hover. Okay, so the easy way is just bonk here, bonk here, bonk here, wait for the spike, and then bonk here. And then come down. If you can go fast enough, you can skip the spike. I did it on demand. How about that? You can actually do that fast enough that you will be able to get down below the spike and bonk before the spike gets you. But yeah, this is... And then once you get down here, if you get here, just slash a few times, let the spike clear. Once you're in the here menu to that, slash this switch, boomerang, and move on. The faster way to do it is to boomerang and then dash out, which you'll see in the video. So we'll go back to the video, but the next screen has plenty to show. So this is a diagonal boom to hit the crystals and dash down and get the key. Alright, so back here. So the trick is to get to the right position, which is about right here. You're going to down left to throw the boomerang. That was 1 pixel too far. Down left to throw the boomerang, and then move right as soon as possible. And the boomerang will catch the crystal switch on the way back. So as you enter the room, walk down to about here into a down right. Start your dash if you can, so that as soon as the pegs are down, you dash down. Grab the pot, boomerang the key, and move on. It's very easy to overthrow the boomerang. It's very easy to underthrow it and clink. This is a room that you'll have to practice a lot. Alright. Back to game feed. So, next room, go up. Boomerang on the pegs. And then here's a bomb jump. Okay, so a lot going on there. I'm actually gonna have to load a state for this. So pre-fire snakes room. Okay. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to come down, dash to bonk over, and then dash. When you get here, you slash or delay so that that fire snake can go past you. You're going to move up to the right of the pushable block, buffer over to bombs in that position, plant a bomb, pick it up, push the switch to the right, move down to the left, throw the bomb against the blocks, bonk off the blocks to do a bomb jump. So here's what it looks like. Dash right and bonk, dash left, get over here, slash, place the bomb, and that is your bomb jump. Now, if you don't like doing that, you can do this slower method. It's been a while since I've done the slower method. Let me try to do the slower method. The slower method is pretty similar to your normal Tower of Hera bomb jump. So it's just like the normal one, but this fast one's not that bad. Just dash, delay, bomb, push, throw, dash. This is not trivial to do in the context of a run, so make sure that you practice this a few times before you actually get into hold on, there's a question. Can you use a bomb or something to hit the switch? The double crystal switch? You can, but you probably no, you can't use a bomb there. Yes, you could use a bomb to hit the switch, but you probably don't have enough bombs. And of course it's slower. That's obviously one of the casual ways to do that, but you probably don't have enough bombs. Because you still need to do this bomb jump, and you still need a bomb for Ice Armos bombable floor. So let's go back to the video. So now it's the normal portal room. Sorry, you hear me playing along in the background to get to where. Do this normal bonk over the portal. Real quick, if for whatever reason you don't have 3 bombs at this point, then you should know that this portal has arrows in it. Or if you don't have 3 arrows at this point, you need to get these 3. Because yes, there is a 10 chest and a 5 pot in the room before Ice Armos, but getting that 5 pot is really going to screw up your timing for getting into the bombable floor. So if you need arrows, grab those ones. Do the... Now this bombable floor... Okay. Let's get some bombs. So, for the bombable floor room, what you're going to do is upright, plant a bomb, throw the bomb, throw the pot, and then go down to the wall and right, and you should be able to go right around that anti-fairy. But the big thing is to make sure that you get over and get these 10 arrows. If you don't get the 10 arrows, bad things are going to happen. But this is another one of those rooms that you'll need to practice a few times. If But then you're going to drop down into Ice Armos, and the Ice Armos fight is as normal. So you want to do 3 up, 2 left, 1 up, delay a little bit, and then 2 more up and go around the circle. And then wiggle up these stairs for the big key, get the 10 arrows, and we're back. Now this spike floor room, so that is one of a few ways that you can go through that. One of 2 ways, actually, in this category. So the first thing that we did is arrow onto the pegs, throw that, push the block, and come down here. So, again, arrow left, down left onto the pegs. You want to be a little bit low so that when you throw this, it works. Throw that and hold down left to get below there and go. So if you do this, you're going to lose a heart and you're going to pick up a heart. So however many hearts that you enter the room with should be how many that you leave it with if you do the strat right. The other way to do this is arrow, 1, 2, push, come over here to the blue pegs, and slash to get iframes, and there. You can kill this guy if he makes you uncomfortable. So, and then we are on to mimics. So, Mimics 1, Mimics 2 are much bigger than are really for the context of this. So, this is Joe's strat for Mimics. It's not the fastest, but it's pretty easy. And then Mimics 2 is a whole other tutorial. The spike trap, there's a number of different ways to go through it. I do the bow dash there. Again, let's bring that up real quick. So, I'll show a few different ways to go through it. What I do is this bow dash, which it's not exactly the most consistent of strats if you aren't practiced with it, but you can basically just go up a few pixels and hit a bow. You can also just go up a few pixels and dash. See if I can. Slash the switch, dash up, dash out. You can also go up right and dash, slash the switch, get the pot, dash out. There's also, I guess, some newer strat where you come up here and you jump off. But I don't fully understand how that one works. But, I mean, if you really want to be safe, you can come up here and jump off at the right spot. And go up and do everything. But that's just a few different ways that you can do the room. Just trying not to take damage coming out. And then If you are low on hearts, it is very vital that you know about this room down here. These are Josh's fairies, and they will save your run while you are learning. So you can throw the bomb, bonk over, then you can bonk back to get back. So then, let's go back to the video, and we're going to go through Gauntlet. I'll try to explain the basic ideas of Gauntlet as you're going through it. First room, hold down left as you enter, shoot an arrow to kill that Stelphos and clean up the other 3. Throw the pot to kill the top guy, and hopefully you can easily clean up the bottom 2 skeletons. For Gauntlet 3, you kind of want to dash left above that BMOS to take out those blue guys. For Gauntlet 4, however, Gauntlet 4 and 5 do bear some explanation, so let me get there for you. We've got really weird equipment in this preset. Alright. So, for Gauntlet 3, when you come out, hold down right through the door and dash as quickly as you can. And hopefully you'll catch this guy. And then hopefully you can slash that guy. If you dash straight down, a lot of times that guy can just kind of cruise right on by. Of course, he's being friendly right now. But doing a quick down right means that you'll catch him more often than not. Okay. For Gauntlet 5, what you want to do when you enter this room is hold down left and fire your bow on the first frame after you move down left one diagonal pixel. And what this should do is catch the Stelphos. As soon as the arrow's in the air, you want to start slash buffering to move down right to take out the red horse head, and then dash out. So it should look like this if you get good RNG. Well, that's bad RNG with the horse head going all the way to the bottom. But the big thing is that you get the Stelphos. Sometimes he'll just do that. He'll walk right on past your arrow, and you've just got to figure it out from there. But hopefully he cooperates, you can kill him, and move on. In this next room, delay until the bunny beam goes, and then move on. So let's get caught up on the video. So you'll see going down left one frame. And then we're going to delay until the bunny beam goes, and we're going to deal with landmollas. So there are 2 pixels that when you walk into the room, if you release your spin on them, you'll get shot out to the bottom right, and you will not take damage. And then just clean up the guys. Try to get a clean door dash out of here. And then I'm going to see if I can show you those 2 pixels. So one of them should be here. See, you get spun out to the... Normally, if you go too far, you've got a pretty good chance of taking damage. But it also gives you a much better chance of potentially getting 2 worms killed on phase 1. But just clean them up. The delay with the bunny beam. Oh, you can't see screen at the moment. Oh, good. Okay. So that shoots you out to the bottom right. If you go too far in, it'll probably keep you centered and closer to them, but you're going to take some damage. But that staying centered gives you a better chance of killing one on the first, which makes the second cycle quicker. So it's kind of a gamble how you want to do it. Do you want to kill one on the first cycle, or do you want to get through damageless? But stand here and you'll get shot out without taking damage. Too far in. So anyway, I'm going to kill them just so I can advance, because there's some important rooms coming up. The thing with the bunny beam, you're delaying the bunny beam to cause all 3 land molas to spawn at the same time. So when you're leaving land molas, you want to look at your arrows. You need a minimum of 5 coming out of here. Hopefully you are in decent shape, but if not, you've got some important pots. You got a heart, and you got 5 arrows. And you need those arrows for the wizrobes. So I'm going to show you the 2 wizrobe rooms on the video, and then we'll go back and demonstrate a bit. So there's the first one. So coming out of the stairs, you're going to cancel with left, go down, and you're going to fire left, right, and slash this last guy, and then dash out. Again, cancel with left, left, right, slash, dash. These guys are really prone to dropping hearts if you need them. So don't be, while you're first learning, don't be too proud to grab some hearts here. I don't have the thing up. Sorry about that. Again, cancel left, left, right, slash. Don't get hung up on the invisible bridge. And try to move as little left before firing as you can. And what I was saying is that these wizrobes are going to drop hearts probably. Don't be afraid to pick them up if you need them. So back to the video. I'm going to dash across this bridge, and then wizrobe 2 is kind of fun. Okay, so what just happened there? When you enter this room, let's get rid of that guy. When you enter the room, you're going to hold up left until you get to the conveyor. As soon as you're on the conveyor, you're going to fire up to kill the top left wizrobe. Then you're going to start holding left until you're about at the middle of the room. Meanwhile, the conveyors are carrying you up. At that point, you should be able to turn left, fire an arrow left at the bottom left wizrobe. You should be able to slash right and slash up to kill the last 2. So let me get back there, and then I will show this. Okay, so let's pull this up. So again, we're going to hold up left as we enter the room, fire 1 up, hold right a bit, fire left, slash right, slash up. If you hold right too long, you're going to get hit by the spike. So that's it. If you leave this guy behind, you can just slash him. You can try to time an arrow. But this is another one of those rooms that you want to practice a lot. Chances are you have 4 hearts or left, 4 hearts or less, and those Wizrobe beams do 4 hearts of damage. So be careful. But there you go. So back to the video. When you're doing these torches, you're gonna pick up the right pot and the top pot, and then light top, right, bottom, left. Do as much cardinal movement as you can along this pit. And then torches 2. So right here, when you get down to that torch, you're gonna you can do an item dash with the lamp to light the torch and start your dash left. Light this torch, move up, bonk over the pit and light left, and then come over here and light right. So item dash, light the bottom left, bonk over the spark, or bonk over the hole, light left, light right. Get through the Helma room and do the bombable floor. Or the bombable wall. Real quick, top left pot has a heart. So if you want a heart, grab it there. And now Moldorm 2. So optimally, you have to hover. That's just how this category is. There are other routes if you want that get the Moon Pearl and the flippers and the hook shot, and you can still beat the game in about 33 some odd minutes. But optimally, you have to hover. So the fast way to do this, if you're brave, is just hold down right, but he's going to be in the way a lot. So what I do for RTA is I dash down, I dash right, and if he's over to the right, then I'm going to go down and try to start my hover. If he's off to the left, I'm going to carry it farther, and then I will come over here and start my hover. But the big thing is just to make sure that you get across. Hovering on the left is safer because you're less likely to fall on spikes if you fall. But hovering it's not hard, it's hard on pace. But as long as you actually stop and think about it and do what you're supposed to do, you'll get across. Then you're going to push this block, this block. For this block, what you do is you push slash as soon as it starts moving, and then you should be able to move down and dash around the block and get clean into the door. So we'll go back to the video. Shedding a bomb just to automatically menu to lamp if you still have bombs selected. So out of here, you're going to hold down. The way that I do it is I'm just going to hold left out of the door. The conveyors are going to carry me down to here. Once I get to that line, I'm going to hold straight up, and I'm going to get up to here. I'm going to wiggle down a little bit to delay to give the bumpers a time to clear, and I'm going to start a dash, and then I'm going to go up. So let me get back there. Through the genius of the practice hack, so hold left, up, down, and dash through. You can just kind of go up, right, down,
and dash as well. And then there's another strat where you kind of like wiggle up through here with some sword buffers and all that I don't know how to do. But the safest way is left, up, down, and dash. So back to the video. So coming up next is Aghanim. It's going to be Aghanim 1 because you're in fake Dark World. Just like a normal Aghanim fight, you want to you know, as best as you can, reflect him towards the middle. When he's kind of hanging out at the top like that, not much you can do. But 6 shots to kill him. Pray for 0 blue balls. And then we'll talk about Ganon real quick. The beginning of the fight and the end of the fight are pretty much the same as normal, except you only have Lamp. But you don't have hook shot, so... Just like a normal Ganon fight, you're going to fall in. You're going to slash before the text box. Clear the... You can grab the red mail if you want, but... real quick, to answer that question, so... You can grab the red mail if you want, but the red mail, I mean, you still only have probably 3 hearts at this point. And if you hug the pig, you're still going to die. Pretty sure. Because I think it does, like, touching Ganon is still going to do 4 hearts of damage. It's 20 seconds to grab red mail. The other thing with grabbing red mail is you have a chance to screw up the bat patterns, and you really want to know where your bats are. So... I would say that your time is better spent. If you're going to bother learning the mirror jump and you're going to bother learning how to hover, you should learn how to fight Ganon. I got the red mail when I started at this category, but I found really quickly that it was kind of pointless because it really just screwed up the Ganon fight. So... Like any Ganon fight, you're going to drop in, you're going to slash once before the text box, cancel the text, 3 text boxes, mash through the first 2, and cancel the last one with L and R. And then you're going to get this Tridents Pen. Now, phase 2 is where things start to get interesting. So... In this particular case, again, you don't have the hook shot, so you can't do the normal strats. So what you need to do is, get out of phase 1 with 5 more slashes or a spin and 3 more slashes once you get to the bottom. But then you need to get into the ring of bats. You can't be outside of it. You will not get a 1-on-1. So as soon as you get your 5 slashes or your spin and 3 slashes, you're going to dash up into Ganon and move left to get inside the ring. And then you're going to have to do ring dashes. You can do, in this particular RNG, top left, you can do 5 ring dashes. Then you should be able to get 5 or 6 slashes, which would take you to either hit 11 or 12. And then you can clean up with 1 more ring dash if you need. But you need to get those 12 hits. And this top left and top right are difficult. Middle left and middle right are going to be almost identical to NMG. So... This is what top left looks like. So you get those ring dashes, get the slashes, finish up with a ring dash, and then dodge the bats. Okay, so let's talk about the other one that's different, which is far right. Ignore the hook shot because I'm just using NMG presets. This is the Tridents Pen, so let me get
a clean phase 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gonna dash up, get in here, and we need to do a lot of ring dashes really fast. And I don't think I got enough of them. So, far right is the difficult RNG. That's why red mail's not going to help you. I'm going to see if I can get... Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Dodge a bat and slash for 12. So, try to show that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. Dodge a bat, slash for 12. The middle left and the middle right are going to be the same. So I'll show them one time just for completeness sake, but there's a very good Ganon tutorial that I will link in the description of the video. So get down against the wall, double spin, slash, another double spin, do some ring dashes, 3, 4, another double spin, and you're good. And that's going to be the same for bottom, mid left and mid right. So after that, it is a matter of just executing a Ganon fight. Ganon is its own tutorial, but those two RNGs are going to be different for, you know, how you handle them without the hookshot is different. But that is any percent NoEG. Beat the game as quickly as possible with a minimal set of items and without going into exploration glitch. I think it's a really fun category. I think that it will teach you how to do the Ganon fight really well. It will teach you how to do Ganon's tower really well, because you're still going to have to do a lot of the rooms the same way, and you're going to have to do them without taking damage. So I recommend, you know, watch the theory test, watch Pincus's world record run, watch a few of Pincus's 27-minute runs as well. If you want to see different ways to do the category, you can watch some of Clint Beastwood's runs. He actually got, he did NoEG with Gold Sword and got a sub 30. So there's different ways that you can do the route. There's different tricks that you can mix in. You can watch ACMLM's route to see how this works if you want to get the hook shot, because ACM doesn't hover. So there's a lot of variation to it. If you're not feeling comfortable in Ganon's tower yet, you can pick up the bottle in the net while you're dropping off and picking up the tempered sword. You can drop off the sword when you dash left to Kakariko. You can go pick up the bar bottle in the net, and then you can pick up fairies in Ganon's tower or something. There's a lot of things you can do as you're learning the category. Know where the heart pots are, and just understand that you're going to die a lot while you're learning this. And if you die on Ganon and you don't have the Moon Pearl, the run's kind of over, because otherwise you have to go up to Tower of Hera and get the Moon Pearl to get back into Ganon. So it's fun, it's rewarding, it's kind of punishing to start with. It does require some non-trivial tricks like the mirror jump, the DMD, screen wrap, and hovering if you're going to do this route. But I think you'll have a lot of fun with it if you try it. Of course, A lot of resources out there, and the Discord is available. There's a lot of NoEG runners these days. So is it manageable to start with this one? Well, that depends on you. I would suggest that you at least start with Master Sword just to learn how movement works, because a lot of the rooms in this game in this category kind of depend on you knowing and being able to feel how Link is going to move. The idea of the 1 pixel, 2 pixel alternating walking pattern, and things like knowing about canceling stair lag, which I mentioned, but I didn't really go that in depth because you kind of should know about that before you get into this. Some people have started with this category, but I would suggest you start with Master Sword, and figure out how movement works, because you're going to put a lot of hours and lose a lot of runs doing this category. So make sure that the game is something that you like before you get into it. But do what makes you happy. Just know that if you start with this category, you're probably going to die a lot, and that's okay. I still die on most of my runs because it's kind of a brutal category. But the tutorial will be around. The theory task is up. The leaderboard is filled with great runs to watch. The Discord is full of people that will answer questions. So hopefully this helps. And if you have any specific questions, find me. And anyway, have fun, good luck, and happy hovering. Thanks.